now we have Aisha, who has been a doula for about 5 years. So I've got some questions for Aisha about being a doula. Okay, so first of all, what is a doula?
Okay, so the word doula is actually a Greek word, and it means a female companion or a female servant. Nowadays, it actually refers to a birth professional who offers emotional and physical practical support to women during pregnancy, birth, and postnatal. Doulas also engage in information sharing and also in advocacy for women during that time. Another thing on what a doula is it's often referred to as mothering the mother, so that's just another little way of looking at it. Yeah, and they've usually done training courses to kind of know what's necessary to be able to support them in that way.
Thank you. Okay, well that leads into my next one. Actually, no, that's my third one. I'll get to my next one first. What does a doula do?
Okay, so
More specifically,
okay. So doulas spend a great deal of time listening to women. They usually will be, listening to their fears, listening to their hopes and their wishes, all regarding, their pregnancy, their birth, and the transition to motherhood. Debriefing their birth, their previous birth experience. Exploring their options and exploring their preferences. There's a lot of listening. But doulas also will encourage women to go and gain some antenatal education. So really support, antenatal education and encourage them to really kind of look into what their preferences are for their, not just for their birth, but also postnatally, like for their motherhood experience, so they're planning to breastfeed, everything. So really getting them to kind of really think about it and explore. When it comes to birth, doulas will offer reassurance and encouragement, and they're continuously supporting women throughout her labour. So often doulas will be supporting women at home until, if she is going to a hospital, from home to hospital, or if she's at home and home. And offer encouragement and reassurance and coping techniques, comfort techniques, helping to set up the environment, so home therapy, and all that kind of thing, and also supporting the family, so supporting her, support people to support her. And another thing that doulas do is something called holding the space, which is kind of it's a little bit hard to explain, but it's almost like protecting that space around the woman so that she can do everything that she needs to do. It's not a lot of doing, it's kind of more not doing, and just kind of being there and present. So doulas will also remind the woman or help to facilitate the communication between the woman and her caregiver in regard to her preferences and stuff like that, and also advocate for the woman, and also help with the preparation for her postnatal recovery, so like a baby mood, and has she prepared, like what she prepared for support afterwards, and is she prepared to rest, and is she kind of, got some pre-cooked meals, or got family cooking for her, and how is she kind of preparing for that, that transition. There's a whole heap of stuff that doulas do.
That's good.
One thing that doulas really, really encourage is something called, it's an acronym, it's called BRAND, and it's something that will teach women to help them to navigate their way through their birth experience or things that might come up in through the pregnancy and stuff like that. And it stands for benefits, risks, alternatives. Do I have to do it now? You can have some time to make a decision. So that's just helping the woman to kind of navigate her way. So that's just one little thing. And helping with encouraging breastfeeding support and breastfeeding services, things like that.
Good, thank you. Okay, so how did you become a doula?
Okay, well, I've always been attracted towards supporting women. I've always been drawn towards it since the time I had my first baby when I was 18 years old. However, it was the birth of my third child that definitely sparked the start of my journey. So I have to tell that story.
That's fine, please do.
Okay, so my third pregnancy, I've been about 30 weeks on, I was told that, so his growth was measuring 3 weeks or more under. So I went through some growth scans and stuff like that, and I was told that, you know, most likely he's going to have some sort of abnormality. Well, that's what I heard. I was given a lot of conflicting information in that time, and I was in a fragmented system. I wasn't kind of given consistent answers, and most of my visits were very, very short. And so I felt very, even though I had really good family support and stuff like that, I felt very, like really quite afraid and quite alone during that time. So, I had a lot of fear as I was approaching the birth, his birth. And so, and the only advice that I was given, I remember in one of these appointments was, just be prepared. And so that's what I did. I went and thought, like, I'm going to be prepared. So I went and did some research and stuff, and I was reading blogs. And in one of these blogs, and I didn't realise that how this affected me until afterwards. But in one of these blogs, I was reading about some of the experience of mothers who had children with some sort of abnormalities, and that these women's experiences, just this blog I happened to read, that they knew something was wrong because their labour was different to the others. Right? It was just one little planted seed in my mind. And so when I went into labour with my son, I went into the hospital and he was posterior. And it was my first posterior labour. So I had this posterior labour that I was in a lot of pain. And I was fearful and tense and a lot of pain. So it's like it's a cycle that can kind of happen. I had all this fear. Even though I had really great support, I constantly kept saying to my mum, why is this different? Why is it different? What's wrong? Something's wrong. Because it felt different to others. And I found that, so the midwife who was looking after me, who said quite a few, some condescending things to me, and was really quite dismissive of me, and disregarded a lot of the questions. I really just needed something, help, support, words, encouragement, tell me what's going on, anything. But I didn't get that. And so when I gave birth to him, thank God he was beautiful and perfect, and even if he wasn't, I was so in love with him anyway, because I told him when I was pregnant with him, it doesn't matter, whether you have abnormalities or not, I'm so in love with you, so that's fine. So when I saw him, I was so in love with him, and and I turned around and started saying sorry to everybody, because I was so hysterical when I was in labour. And the midwife turned around and said to me, because he was posterior, that's why I'm in so much pain. And I remember at that time I thought, well, why didn't you tell me? Because I had this fear that it was different because there was something wrong with him. And it was just a completely irrational kind of fear that I had. And, my mum couldn't kind of help me, she couldn't reach me, and my husband was terrified, because he didn't know I was so out of control. And then, so afterwards I went home and I started to think about it, and I was like, I couldn't go in the hospital, I could remember the midwife, and I just wanted to go back to her and say to her, how you didn't tell me that earlier, So, anyway, I realised that I was traumatised. And so I started to, as I was processing my birth experience, I was researching posterior labour, what could I have done. I realised how my fear leading up to the birth had affected the way I coped. I realised how it kind of all came full circle. And it was through reading about it that I came across doulas. Okay? And then once I read about it, I went, that's what I needed.
You needed a doula.
I needed a doula.
Yeah.
I felt like that's what I needed, It was a role that my mum couldn't fulfill and my husband couldn't fulfill. And because of the fragmented system, I didn't kind of have any relationship with anybody else. I thought, that's what I needed. I needed a doula. So I started to go and be one.
Perfect. And how did you do that?
So I went to I enrolled in a doula training course with the Australian Doula College, and I went there, and it was just a really great experience, and I just loved it. I soaked it up, and I was just like, this is what I love this, So I did that, and then I went out and started doulaing mainly in the Muslim community of Sydney. There was no doula in that community. It seemed that I was the first one. So it was almost like nobody really knew what a doula was. I didn't really think it would take off, but it did.
Perfect. There you go. What is your favourite thing about being a doula?
I love being a part of a woman's journey and watching it unfold. You know, I love holding the space. I love that concept. I love doing it, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I love witnessing women as they discover their own strength and they discover their own knowing, and I just think it's the most amazing thing. And yes, I love that.
Awesome. What is the most difficult thing about being a doula?
It's difficult. It's very difficult to witness disrespectful care, or women not being respected or heard, and navigating that, and trying to do that in a way that doesn't cause hostility in the environment you don't want in. So I find that's when it happens. It's quite.
And what do you wish midwives knew about doulas?
Okay, so I think I'm just going to explain what it's like when you have a continuity of care midwife and a doula, because that gives a little bit of context. So when a woman has a continuity care relationship with a midwife, and then she has a doula, both of them know her, and they both know what she wants, and they both know what she's working towards and what her fears are and everything like that. And so it's very clear that everybody's working for the same objective, okay? And so the woman almost like creates a partnership between the woman, the doula, and the midwife. So it's like that, and it's beautiful, you know. But outside of a continuity of care model, so you know, a parameter system or something like that, I really would like midwives to know that, you know, a doula is not against them and it's not on their side and not trying to take a role, and you know, really wants to work with them, really wants to work with her, you know, to try to make this a beautiful and positive experience for this woman. And so, you know, I think that it would work in the benefit of the midwife to realise that you know, especially in this system, that the doula has had that continuity care with the woman, and so she might be able to gain some sort of insight from her to be able to, you know, work together. And I just think that, and sometimes it happens and it's really, really amazing, it's really beautiful. But yeah, I think that if there was a lot more communication and you know, working together, that would be great.
Have you got any other comments you'd like to add?
I don't know.
Are there any questions?
Does a doula have to have your own insurance?
No.
Are you hands-on in any way? Like, or is it more almost playing role for the woman? Like just an emotional support
So you mean hands-on, like?
during the birth, like
Yeah.
labour and birth and
Yeah,
that
so
type of thing?
doulas will, you know, massage and use all sorts of different practical and physical techniques to help the woman be comfortable and to cope with the labour. Sometimes doulas will also have some skills to regarding positioning to help get the baby into positions and stuff like that. So it depends on the doula and what her knowledge is. But yeah, generally they're very hands-on in that way. However, the doulas don't have clinical training or clinical skills or do any clinical assessments or give clinical advice. So that's the part that's not part of the doula scope.
Do you think it can get sort of complex when you're working with the midwife, but the midwife might be working towards the same point as you know, with the same ideology, but the midwife's restricted by the policies and procedures of the hospital, you know, so she needs to follow those, even if it goes against her, you know,
Beliefs and stuff.
yeah, like, you know, they need to have continuous CTG monitoring.
Yeah.
There was just a doula in the hospital when I was doing prac who removed the CTG monitoring because she didn't want the woman to be restricted in her movement and that sort of thing. But the policy and procedure of the hospital stated that she had to be monitored. So I know that was just an area of conflict or tension or whatever.
I think it's a breakdown in communication, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think that if, you know, definitely it's very difficult, you know, I think for midwives working in the system and with the policies and everything. And I think that there needs to be a lot more communication between the midwife and the woman, and more negotiation to help reach that common goal. So, you know, sometimes, you know, most of the time, if there's really good communication and there's trust between the midwife and the woman and the doula, even if she doesn't have a doula, then, you know, then most of the time these things, it doesn't become hostile and it doesn't become tense, and everybody kind of, you know, will, you know, compromise on different things and different negotiations. You know, it will work out however it's, you know, going to work out. But most of the time I think it's a breakdown in communication, and sometimes I think it's sometimes I think for a woman, a doula should really try to empower a woman to advocate for herself as well, and you know, and I think that that's something that some women find really difficult sometimes. So I hope that answers your question. I just think it's a breakdown of communication.
Are you on call for the births and all that at any time between it? Or
Yeah.
So at any point in time you could be called up and
And gone for a very long time.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much, Aisha. That was, you were fantastic. So thank you very much. Thank you to both of our contributors.
Now she's done it first, she's fine.
You were